What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1996 Subaru Domingo. Behind me is a 1.2 liter inline 3-cylinder engine, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this here Subaru Domingo because I love K vehicles. K vehicles are a classification of car from Japan that have to meet strict engine and size requirements in order to get a tax break and other monetary benefits. However, this is a K van that isn't actually a K van, and I'll tell you why later on. This video was filmed in the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida. If you would like to submit your vehicle no matter where you are in the country, please head on over to zackpradel.com, where there's a quick and easy submission form, and the next time I travel the country, I might be coming to you. So let's get back to that 1.2 liter inline 3 found at the very back of the vehicle. Well, first of all, it's really odd. You have to pull the bumper down in order to access the engine. However, that engine is needed to pilot a vehicle that has 3 rows of seating. But that means that this is no longer a K vehicle. Now, the Domingo is actually based off of the Sandbar platform, which is a K vehicle, has the 660cc engine, and conforms to the size requirement. However, because this is a 3-row vehicle, and that's what Subaru was originally wanting to make, that pushes it beyond the K car's limitations. So they were able to put a bigger 1.2 liter into it as opposed to the 660cc or 0.6 liter if we're doing a direct comparison of liters. They were able to double the engine size and make the bumpers bigger, make the car a little bit longer in that way because it no longer had to stick to K car requirements. So that's why I titled this the K van that's not a K van, because it's based off one, it has all of the characteristics of one besides the engine and bumpers. That's it. And the engine was the big driving force behind that. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It's fine. It does the job. It's a manual transmission. It's really notchy, drives like a K vehicle that I've come to know and love. Last but not least, this actually gets the full-time 4-wheel drive from Subaru. So even though it's a weird, quirky little van, it still has their cornerstone all-time 4-wheel drive, which I think is really, really unique. So how does it feel to actually drive a Subaru Domingo? Well, it drives like a K vehicle. It still feels pretty underpowered, even though it has a 1.2 liters as opposed to a 660cc engine. Still a 3-cylinder. It's still not amazingly fast or anything. Highways are going to be a little bit of a struggle. However, it needed that extra for the 3rd row, and it is still sort of a cab over design, so you kind of drive it in this really interesting way where you turn a little bit later than you would normally do. If you're familiar with driving cab overs, it's not going to feel any different. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have very plain and simple gauges. Off to the left is my fuel, in the center is my speedometer, and off to the right is my coolant temperature. Nothing to write home about. However, they are really easy to see, and I like the orange needles. Off to the right, I have my fog lights, and I have a little vent. And moving on to the door, I have auto power windows, which is a really, really nice feature for a vehicle in this class. And then up above that, I have the latch to get in and out. It looks like a window crank, but it's not. Moving into the center, I do have 2 climate control vents and the climate controls themselves. Of course, temperature up top, where to send it down below, and fan speed off to the right with my little AC button, which I am pleasantly enjoying here in Florida. It is scalding hot today, and it is doing overtime. However, it's doing a fantastic job. To the left of the gauges, I do have my rear defrost. Down below that, I do have an aftermarket radio because most radios from this era weren't great. Then I have a little cubby, ashtray, and cigarette lighter. However, up on the center console, you do get the manual transmission. Feels very economy. You know, the shift knob itself is sort of this rubbery plastic. The shift boot is this accordion looking thing that you would assume a Big Mac truck would have. So it's not the most luxurious shifter, but it definitely does the job. Moving into the center, I do have these little pop open cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Subaru Domingo. And unfortunately, I didn't expect it to pass. No vehicle in the segment ever has. But unfortunately, the Domingo, as fun of the name as it is to say, does not pass and in fact fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are finished in this really, really awesome 90s material. I just love it. It kind of looks like the floor of a Brunswick zone when I was growing up, like the local arcade bowling alley. I love it. And I wish that this design pattern would come back. I feel like with people that grew up in the 90s kind of coming into some money now, I feel like it might make a comeback. But either way, I love that it's in the Domingo. However, let's hop into the back and do a backseat review, because that's where you really want to be. All right, so for the backseat review, I'm actually going to go handheld. I don't normally do this, but I wanted to show this off. So, sliding door, first of all, very, very nice. And you get 2 rows of seating. Again, this was another reason why this couldn't be classified as a K vehicle. Back seats, pretty good. In terms of space, in terms of this tiny little van, I mean, you get plenty of space back here, and here's some seat operations. However, the reason I am going handheld is because I wanted to show you actually the front passenger seat. So, there's a little button down here, and that allows this to fold up. That's not for like a child seat or anything. Then, pull that, and you can spin this around, come over here, click that back in, close this door, and then you can sit talking and facing the rest of the vehicle. This is a super, super cool feature. The Mitsubishi Bravo does something similar. You'll have to check out that video at the end of this one, but really, really cool that you get this seating opportunity, and then you could hang out with your pals, maybe while your friend's on a road trip or whatever. That is really, really cool. So these are the 3 rows of the Subaru Domingo. I have to say I'm very, very impressed with the size, and I absolutely love it. It's a huge perk of this car. Coming around the very back, it's very obvious that they got a little wet and wild with the extra dimensions they were allowed since it's no longer a K car. But come back here, big hatch open like that, and we don't get tons and tons of space like I would have thought. However, that's because we do get that 3rd row. And over here, that's actually for the coolant. It's like right into the body panel. And over here is the wiper fluid, again, right into the body panel. You also get some defroster vents up there, which look very, very nice. And overall, you do get a rear wiper, which is another nice feature. And that's the back of a Subaru Domingo. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I love this green color. You don't really see K vehicles. I know this isn't a K vehicle, but it's kind of is. You don't really see them much in green or fun colors, which is really, really nice to see and a nice change of pace. But doing this walk around, you really notice how chunky the extra bumpers are. And you might also notice that this actually has a bubble top roof. So the front can be tilted out. However, the rear can actually be slid back and offers this open roof experience in the Domingo, which I haven't seen in other K vehicles that I've reviewed. I know the Bravo was offered with it, but the Bravo that I reviewed didn't have it. This is the coolest thing in the world. This coming out in the 90s, along with Jurassic Park, where they had the clear-topped Explorers. I can't imagine what kids in Japan thought when their parents brought this thing home after seeing that movie. That, to me, is one of the coolest ideas ever, and I hope that that happens somewhere on the island of Japan. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving the Subaru Domingo? Well, first of all, it's one of the most fun names to say ever. Please leave a comment of fun to say car names, because Domingo really rolls off the tongue. But I think this is a really interesting car in Subaru's history. Subaru has kind of struggled in the past when it came to 3-row vehicles. Now they have the Ascent, which is their staple 3-row vehicle here in America and abroad, and it's great. They finally nailed it now. In the mid-2000s, they tried the Tribeca, which I've never reviewed. I've always wanted to, but it didn't really work because it went away then. But back in the 90s, they were itching to get some type of 3-row vehicle. So they took their K-truck platform, K-van platform, and made this. It was a quick, somewhat rushed job to get a 3-row vehicle to market. And it worked, but it also kind of didn't, because the whole point of the K car, the charm of the K car buying it new, is the fact that you get the tax breaks, you get the cheaper insurance, you get the cheaper registration fees. Well, with this, you don't get any of the benefits of the K car while still having all the drawbacks. It's still a 3-cylinder. It's still really underpowered. It's still really small. So you have all the things that make the K car kind of but you have none of the monetary benefits. However, it's past the 25-year, so we can import them here in the United States, and I could not care less about a tax break or anything like that, because this is a more powerful, a little bit bigger K car. It's right-hand drive, it's manual, it's a van, it has a bubble top roof. It's beautiful, it's awesome, it's such a cool, unique experience. And here in the States, I don't know if they've ever sold a car here that was under a liter displacement since before the 70s. So the bigger the engine, the better, and you're still gonna get good fuel economy. Driving this thing has been so cool, so eye-opening, and it's just such a cool and interesting piece of Subaru's history. What do you get when the suits tell you need a 3-row SUV? You get this. And the Domingo is quite the fun little car. Huge thank you to Matt and Tim from Obscure Rides. Obscure Rides is absolutely awesome. They let me take this car out today. They have a bicycle shop as well as classic cars, and they're always doing something fun and interesting. If you're in the St. Augustine, Florida area, please go check them out. Their information is found in the description below. I cannot thank them enough. They've been absolutely awesome through this whole process, and they've been a huge asset to the channel, so please go show them some love. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.